Hi everyone, in this session we will see how to set up an application in AWS Cloud, and we will also upload the artifact and try to access it. So first let's make sure that we have the artifact generated. You can do that by building the application, and you can see that we have this jar file created, and this is what we will try to manually upload it to the AWS. So currently I'm in my AWS account. You can register and sign up for the free service. But remember that when it says free, not all the resources are free. That means you might still be charged for the resources that you are using. Okay, so make sure that whenever you're done with your work, or if you're doing some demo, or if you're learning something, make sure that you terminate or suspend the services so that you don't get charged for something that you are not using. Okay, so in the service section of AWS console, what we want to look at is compute, and this is what we want to access, that is Elastic Beanstalk. And this service is basically used to deploy our web application. Okay, so first thing we can see here, we have environments, applications, and change history. So first let's go and create an application, and that is here. And you can also go and create an environment, and if you're trying to create an application at the same time, you can also create an application. So let's do that first. And here I have the application name. I'll give this as Spring REST Service, and I'll keep this application tags as empty because I'm not using it. Then I have platform, and this being a Java application, I'll select Java, and I'll keep the platform version, everything as default. And then I'll keep it as sample application. I can do an upload the application right now, but what I'm going to do is I'll just give it a sample application and get my application all configured and set up. So I click on create. So when I do a create, what it's going to do is it's going to create a default environment for me. Okay, and I can then later rename it. But you can see here the environment that got created is Spring REST environment. So this is going to take a while to get all the setup done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here and be back when this is all done. Okay, the application setup is completed, and you can see that now we have an auto-generated domain name which we can access our application using this domain name, and you can see that the health is okay. This is a sample application that we deployed to the Elastic Beanstalk. So now we can look at the environment here. The environment that got generated is Spring REST service. Okay, and we can also have all this information, like all these options here. You can also restart the app server, you can terminate the environment. All these options we can use. If in case if you're not using it, I would recommend you to either terminate or delete the environment when you're not using it. Okay, so that you don't get charged for any of the services that you're not using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the artifact manually here now. If we click on upload and deploy, I'm going to choose the file that got generated, and this is the artifact. And then you can see that the version label is 1. You can name it whatever you want here, and let's deploy this. So you can see that it's now deploying. So this might take some time to deploy. Okay, the application is successfully deployed now, and you can see the health is okay. And here you can see that it says new application version was deployed to running EC2 instances. Now let's try to access this. I'll copy the domain name here, copy the link location, open new tab, and the end point that we have currently in our application is user. If you look at the application here, the end point we have is user, and we're going to try to access this. In the response we will see user get successfully. So here I'm going to use the endpoint as user, and I'll hit enter, and you can see that the response is user get successfully. So that's what we have here as a return type. So you can see that now the application, the artifact that we generated in our local, we deployed that in our AWS cloud, that is using Elastic Beanstalk service. So what we did, we in the compute service, okay, in Elastic Beanstalk, what we did is we created an environment. Basically we created an application which by default created an environment for us that called as Spring REST service environment, in which we deployed our application. So with that, I think we are clear with how to deploy an application manually to our AWS EC2 instance. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.